People who realize that the earth is flat, now suddenly the foundation to their world has lots of elements that do sound very similar to mental health problems, including crazy people or people suffering psychosis will often say, there's nothing wrong with me, it's the rest of the world that's crazy. Okay? In fact, that's one of the boxes to tick by psychiatrists. Okay? So a flat earther will say, it's not me that's wrong, it's everyone else. You know, it's so similar. So I thought, okay, maybe register it as a religion. And I don't know, maybe at some point it will be.
Here's what matters. All right, we live in a free country. People should be able to think whatever they want, whenever they want, provided it doesn't subtract away from someone else's rights. Okay, so thinking the earth is flat doesn't harm anyone unless you want to run for office or you want some position of power over other people. That's when it's dangerous.
If moonlight is cool, I thought about this all day yesterday, and I started thinking, okay, the sun warms the earth. The sun transfers energy to the earth through heat. And if the moon absorbs heat, and this is a closed system, the sun moves over the earth during the day, warms the earth, heats up everything, heats up the earth, the trees, asphalt, us, houses, all those things. Then the moon comes over and absorbs heat. You know, it's always darkest and coldest before the dawn. Now, the moon isn't always over our heads all night long, but this is the general theory that I'm working on here. It's just an idea, a theory really. And so the moon comes by and absorbs the heat that the sun imposed on the earth. And so if this is a closed system that we live in, that would make a lot of sense. And so based on Enk's comment, I started thinking, what if the moon acts like a capacitor for the sun? And so the moon just reabsorbs the energy from the sun, and it's a continuous 28-day loop. And is that what's actually causing the phases? What we're seeing in the phases is the capacitor charging and discharging. It's storing energy for the sun and then discharging it back to the sun over and over and over again. So the sun would actually be, the intensity of the sun would actually be increasing and decreasing with the phases of the moon. Now, I'm trying to think of ways we could test this further. First off, we need to really verify that moonlight is cool.
One of the biggest hurdles that I have had when it comes to flat Earth, this has been a huge revelation to me today, and I expect that there will be more revelations. One of the things I've been really seriously contemplating is, the scripture tells us that the moon and the sun are two lights, and that there's the greater light and the lesser light. And I've been seeing a lot of people making videos in the flat earth community about this. And I agree. I mean, I really think the moon very well could give off its own light. One of the things that's interesting about the moon is in moonlight, it has a cooling effect. It has different effects on your body. It's putrefying, and it actually will reduce the temperature compared to water in the moon shade. So if you're in the moon shade, your water is going to be a little bit warmer than it is in the moonlight. And the sun is opposite of that. Okay, in the sun, you're going to have water that's a little bit warmer, and in the shade, it's going to be a little bit cooler. So the moonlight is opposite of the sunlight, and that really makes sense, and that solves a lot of other problems with the moon. Okay, so again, it comes down to, for me, because I haven't been able to look at things over the past year and prove to myself definitively, is it flat, is it a globe? the star motions took me over the edge to it's flat. And from this moment on, I'm going to take the scripture literally.
Okay. Here's our experiment setup spot. See the moon. See the bottom number is the inside temperature, inside the glass of water. These should be the same. I let the faucet run for a long time, so it'd be hopefully the same amount of same temperature. And the moon is shining through that window. Now I'm going to put a magnifying glass on one of these. Okay, so that one's 87.1. Let's put in the other. See what happens. 88.0. Let's put it back in this one. Oh, that one went to 88.5. Hang on a minute. Bottom number there. That's the dryer. Okay. Put in that one and see what happens. 88.9. That one. 88.5.
After a few tries, we seem to get something very, very similar to the phases of the moon, the waxing and waning, as the concave bowl creates its own shadow. You can see that if I lift it above the light, then we get a shadow on the bottom. So this suggests that it fits the flat earth model of having the sun and the moon pretty much on the same level. And what's also curious about this is you can see the glow from the candle extends to a certain limit on the table. This could be considered daylight for us people down on the table on the flat earth. But of course the moon, the bowl, is still able to reflect the light from quite a distance. So this would allow us, if we were tiny people in the dark area of the table where the sun had already set for us, yet we could see the moon up in the sky, still reflecting the sunlight. Now, when it comes to the argument as to whether the moon is reflecting sunlight or producing its own light, I'd like to propose that we have a combination of the two going on. Here we can see shadows and reflection from the light, but as it passes in front of the candle, we have a translucent effect, and maybe this is what is also going on behind the moon. Its own cold light, which we've seen in various moon temperature experiments. The moon light clearly seems to be different than sunlight in several ways, its cooling effects.
Alright, I give up. I cannot live in the same world with people such as this asshole clown. It's just too much. I cannot live with these people anymore. Cannot share the same fucking planet with ignorant fucktard wanker morons who are so fucking ignorant that they can't understand why most of the planets are round. Therefore, I must kill myself.
I'm going to go through just the last few things in it that I thought were really interesting or funny or hypocritical, conspiracy-like, flat earth-like. So I'm not going to read exactly what this says, but I'm going to paraphrase for you so that you get the general idea of what they're trying to say, and then I'll explain why it's It's totally stupid. Okay. Missions to Mercury. They're saying in this chapter here that getting to Mercury is really, really difficult. That satellites have gotten there, but only 2 of them, and it's difficult because the planet is really close to the sun, and the satellites have to be able to withstand the heat, and the satellites can sometimes get caught in the orbit of the sun. The sun's just, oh, it's so big, it's pulling everything in, and the satellites can get damaged or whatever. And so it's really, really hard to get to Mercury. So they've made that really, really clear in this chapter. It's really, really hard to get there. And then they've also made it really clear that while they were there, they didn't do much. They made it there. They got equipment that made it there, that survived the trip. It was launched in 2004 and was in Mercury's orbit up until March of 2011. And while it was there and doing all of that the whole time, got 1 picture of Mercury. 1. This little one here, which I've proven to be fake in EarthView. I'm probably going to have to do that for another video, but they've taken basically the picture of the moon, put some different colors on it, put a couple different craters on it, put a couple scratches on it, and said this is what Mercury looks like from our wonderful satellite that captured this amazing picture, this amazing high-definition picture, which was the only picture that it captured there while it was there for 8 years in the beating hot sun.
Main engine start, 2, 1, and 0, and liftoff of Messenger on NASA's mission to Mercury, a planetary enigma in our inner solar system.
And then this last little bit here, okay, this last little bit here, which was really, really interesting, especially for my flat earth friends, because this little tiny thing right here, I don't think anybody can really see, but this little tiny thing right here is a flat earth map. And I thought that's really funny that they've got that there, and then around it they're telling us these are the satellites, this is where they orbit, the blah 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 blah, right? And here on this page is just all about satellites. And what it says here is that since the 1950s, thousands of satellites have been launched into orbit around Earth for observation, yet this book contains practically none of them. If there are thousands of satellites in orbit, where are the fucking pictures?
You need to know that the sun and moon are in fact the same size, and they are reflections of the Earth. And even if they are spheres, guys, that doesn't mean that the Earth would automatically be a sphere. That's just like saying a light bulb. Just because a light bulb is round, then the floor must be round. Or just because a pool ball is round, the table must be round. I mean, facepalm, guys. They've been believing the flat Earth, guys. Ever since the dawn of time, people have believed flat Earth. Until recently, until the scientific revolution, which I like to call the scientific devolution. Because, guys, telescopes don't work. They are crap. I've used telescopes before. They don't work worth crap. And you can see stars. Yeah, sure. They're the stars. They rotate, with the sun and the moon when they go around the Earth. We're the center of the universe, guys. And we have a huge dome. Okay? Once you go out of the Earth's, there is a little atmosphere, but it's just the clouds, really. You go out of the clouds, which I love that GoPro footage, shows it perfectly. You go out of the clouds, then the GoPro shows that flat Earth, guys, like I showed you that GoPro video. Straight across.
I never lose!
Oh my God. This does make sense. Because there really isn't any proof that we live in a universe. Besides for all the computer-generated videos we've seen in the universe discovery shows. I'm not stupid. I want to believe in a flat Earth so bad. Because if it makes you feel like you know something that everybody else doesn't, right? It makes you feel like you figured it all out. It makes your life exciting. It's like a high.
I mean, give me a break, guys. I mean, it's simple, okay? And there is a firmament, an ice wall that surrounds the Earth that is... There's no North Pole and South Pole, guys. It goes all away around the Earth, guys. And obviously, the moon landing was faked. You can't go on the moon. It's a reflection. You can't land on a reflection, okay? That's just insane to think that. I mean, it's ridiculous, guys. It's a reflection of, the Earth, because you can actually see indentions of the moon that look like the land on the Earth. But it's kind of like turned sideways. But it looks just like the Earth has a reflection. So, same with the sun. Has a reflection, but not in the same way as the moon. The sun is brighter for the day, and the moon is dimmer for the night. That's how God made it. And then He made stars for the night, because it's divine, guys. It's all divine, If it wasn't made this way, then you can take into account all the other made up stupid crap like evolution and other stuff would be true if the Earth was round, but in fact it is not round at all. It is just a theory that was pushed into school systems and tried to make it true, just like evolution, which is bullcrap. So Earth round, bullcrap. Evolution, bullcrap. There's a lot of lies taught to us in school, guys, and you've got to be watchful of these lies because they will make you think your whole life something that is not true. You got to do your own research, okay? You got to look into things. Be suspicious. You got to be suspicious, and guys, you can't ever listen to NASA. They're Freemasons. They were started by Nazis. Look up Project Paperclip. They were started by Nazis. And they banned the word Jesus, for heaven's sakes, guys. And they have no proof whatsoever. What they actually did to fake the moon landing was they used a series of green screens, and just like you would in a movie, and that's what they used to fake the moon landing, and they did a pretty good job of faking it, but you can tell it's 100% fake.
You guys want to see something?
NASA has been caught lying since their inception. Starting back in the 50s when they literally smuggled Nazi scientists into the United States illegally and without the permission of Congress and without the understanding of the U.S. citizens. Yeah, they smuggled Nazi scientists to help spearhead the propaganda campaign known as NASA through clandestine operations like Paperclip and bold-faced hoaxes like the Apollo missions or the Pioneer 10 mission to Jupiter in the early 70s. Now, NASA has been caught faking pretty much everything, and they're still up to their dirty old tricks, planning a trip to Mars in another 20 or 50 years, just like they've been doing since the 60s, increasing their annual funding every year. This year, for fiscal year 2017, they're actually getting $20 billion in U.S. tax dollars. And, you know, let's not forget the millions of problems we've pointed out about the ISS and spacewalks, complete with air bubbles in space, scuba divers in official spacewalk video caught on live spacewalks, and even near drownings in space with NASA using snorkels to save their astronauts in space.
This is the point that is so critical that you will shut them off forever. Let's assume that my hand is the ball, it's the glove, right? So if this is a ball and Africa is here, it's here, and it goes, Africa moves all around and the world, and this is the top of Africa. It moves down. This is the lower part of Africa, in South Africa. It moves all around, goes above the curvature of the globe. I don't know how the water gets here, you know. But let's assume that it goes all, and here is where you have Egypt at the top of Africa. How can it be that the Nile River starts in Burundi in Tanzania, which is below the center of Africa, which it should be here, below the curvature of the earth? It goes up for 4,000 and a half miles or so and reaches the top of Egypt. That is totally compromising the theory that the earth is a globe, because we all know that the water flows from the highest point to the lowest point. It's never the opposite. Water never climbs. A river never climbs a step, and way less for 4,000 miles. So how can it be possible that the river goes against nature, against the laws of fluid and thermodynamics, when we all know that rivers flow from the highest point? Water always goes from the highest point from the path of least resistance, and it always goes from the highest point to the lowest point. So only showing this example will make you win this stupid discussion, and all those stupid people that believe that the earth